Another traffic fatality in the country. The government is being urged to stop downplaying crime, and health officials confirming 2 more COVID deaths. Good evening, everyone. I'm Lissy Bastien. It's Thursday, July 15th. Thanks for staying with us. Another traffic fatality here in the capital Thursday morning leaves a man dead and 2 others in hospital. Shortly after 11 a.m., police received reports of a traffic accident that occurred on the Charles W. Saunders Highway. Officers responded and upon arrival at the scene, found a green Toyota RAV4 that collided into a white Mack truck. Press Liaison Officer, Assistant Superintendent of Police Audley Peters, was on the scene to give more details.
An inspection of the RAV4 revealed 3 occupants, which include 2 males and a female. The 2 males were in the front seat. One of the males in the front seat was found to be unresponsive, and all the persons in the vehicle received injuries. EMS was called, and on their arrival they rendered assistance to all the passengers. However, the male passenger in the front seat succumbed to his injuries. The female and male was transported to the hospital via ambulance. The preliminary investigations revealed that the RAV4 was traveling east along Charles W. Saunders when it collided into the Mack truck that was stationary at the time.
ASP Peters notes that evidence on the scene indicates that speed was a factor for this accident. According to the ASP, the 2 others, a male and a female, who were transported to hospital were in their late 20s to early 30s, and they currently have no information on who the male is that succumbed to injuries on the scene. Officer currently in charge of the traffic station, Assistant Superintendent Mario Sweeting, was also on the scene and makes this plea to the public about road safety.
As you can see, this accident took a turn for the worse. Preliminary inquiries suggested that speed was a factor, and we continue to plead with the members of the public to drive with courtesy, with patience, and obey the traffic speed regulation. All right. So, as it stands now, we are at the initial stage of this investigation, and in due time, an outcome will be referenced to this accident.
According to ASP Sweeting, this accident is traffic fatality number 16 for the Bahamas and number 4 for New Providence for the year. He notes that the traffic department is seeing an increase in motorists speeding and encourages the public to obey traffic laws and stay safe on the road. Chairman of the Progressive Liberal Party, Senator Fred Mitchell, expressing concerns surrounding the government's handling of a recent string of homicides here in New Providence. He says as general elections draw near, Prime Minister Dr. Hewitt Minnis and the Free National Movement are in deception mode, adding that the murder and violent crime counts continue to climb and thousands of Bahamian workers remain unemployed. But Prime Minister Minnis and the Free National Movement say our streets are safe, crime is under control, and Bahamian workers are now better off. Mr. Mitchell says this political rhetoric is at odds with the facts and experiences on the ground. He says Dr. Minnis and the FNM are either outright dishonest or arrogantly detached from reality, or both. Senator Mitchell adds that gun violence is snatching away the lives of young people in alarming numbers, and this uncaring and inept FNM government is yet to address the nation on a strategic approach to stop the bloodbath on our streets. He says we have yet to receive a detailed report on the millions of dollars this government has spent on drones and other crime-fighting equipment, or an update on the efficiency of those initiatives. On the employment front, Senator Mitchell says the PLP cries shame on the government for their exaggeration about the amount of Bahamians who are benefiting from the increased tourism activities. He says tens of thousands of Bahamians are still looking for work and waiting on long lines for food assistance and other basic assistance. He says the government should do its job and conduct the biannual labor force survey so that accurate employment information and jobless numbers can be reported instead of this deceptive political spin. On the health front, health officials confirming 41 additional cases of COVID-19 for Tuesday, July 13th. 36 confirmed here in the capital, 3 on Grand Bahama, and 1 each on Bimini and Cap Key and Exuma. The national total now stands at 13,274. One of those newly confirmed cases in New Providence has a history of travel within 14 days. 16 of those cases are males and 25 are females. There's now 891 active cases in country, 73 of which are in hospital. 68 of those in hospital are considered moderately ill and 5 are in the intensive care unit. 74 recoveries were recorded that day, pushing total recoveries to 12,035. Now, health officials also recording 2 unfortunate deaths. That of a 57-year-old man of New Providence who died on July 11th, and a 73-year-old woman who died on June 28th. The death toll now stands at 256, with 30 deaths currently under investigation. To date, 112,452 tests have been completed. Countries are being urged by the Pan American Health Organization to prioritize health and well-being before resuming full economic activity. PAHO's director, Dr. Carissa Edian, warned that while balancing the COVID-19 pandemic and economic stability has been a challenge, countries should avoid thinking that they must make a choice between reopening the country and the health of their citizens. She says PAHO believes this is a false choice.
We have seen time and time again that full economic activity cannot resume unless we have the virus under control. And to attempt otherwise places lives at risk and extends the uncertainty brought by the pandemic. Health and well-being must be prerequisites for reactivating the economy in the context of COVID-19. Because if the pandemic is not brought under control, economic reactivation will be very difficult.
Dr. Edian reminds that public health measures work to control the spread of the virus, and each country needs to be responsive to its national and local context.
We have already said that reactivating our economies must be done gradually and must be based on the evolving data about the virus's spread, about the health system's capacity. Data must always guide our actions against this virus. We must also recognize that it is necessary to make significant investments to effect change, and this means investing in health to strengthen our health system.
PAHO continues to encourage countries to invest in their public health systems to at least 6% of their GDP. The Bahamas is currently still in its third wave of the pandemic, according to the Minister of Health, Renwood Wells, and he says the government has every intention to move forward with ending the COVID-19 emergency orders when the current state of emergency ends on August 13th. You're watching JCN News. Stay with us.